everyone. So I was just jamming there in the key of C major while mixing up notes from the G flat major pentatonic scale. So this is something that I find fascinating about the 7-tone system, is because there's 12 total. If you have a 7-note scale or tonality, that leaves 5 that are outside of that tonality. And so you can think about ways to color up those inside notes. So in the beginning of the improvising there, I was just playing just notes of C major, and then I went into a little bit, started peppering in some of the notes from the G flat major scale, and then eventually I kind of started staying in G flat major for a longer period of time. And what that does is it creates tension. And tension is an important part of what helps move music forward. It's like 5-1, say, you know, in a lot of music, but let's just take the blues. The last chord in a 12-bar blues is the 5 chord, and it goes back to 1 at the top. So that creates tension and then release, and then it helps to keep things moving forward. Anyway, so if you think about, not to get too out there on this, but the white keys on the piano are all natural notes, and then so the key, let's just say it's the key of C major, because it could be D Dorian or other modes, but let's just say C major. And then the black keys are the sharps and the flats, and those are the 5 other notes that color up those inside notes. So you can look at those black notes as G flat major, or also E flat minor pentatonic. And so the idea of black and white on the piano, and thinking about, this is just something I've thought about, so I'll throw it out there in case someone finds it interesting. The yin and yang sign, so how it kind of balances each other out. And, you know, not that you always have to put in the black notes with the white notes, but it can, I think, to my ear anyways, help kind of activate things and help to basically appreciate the inside notes that much more. And over time, you know, you can start developing an ear for those outside notes, and you could start to find them interesting sounding in and of themselves. And you can actually start to work on hearing those outside notes in a way that can work with the inside tonality, not just as a passing note and not just like a flash of color, but actually hanging on it. And if you think about like the blues, you know, they mix up major and minor, for instance, right? If you have an E major chord, hold on a second. Sorry about that, I didn't realize how out of tune it was. E major. Right, E major plus G natural gives you that, you know, that raunchy blues sound. So in C major, like for instance, to kind of get that similar kind of effect, you could, let's try the E flat, which is minor third. Or just hang on it. Kind of raunchy. The B flat, which would be flat 7. Let's try C minor pentatonic over this. Like, I don't know, it's kind of interesting sounding. It's not like you'd always maybe want to play like that, or, you know, maybe an artist does, but I personally wouldn't want to play like that all the time. But it might be kind of cool to have moments like that where it just kind of bends your ear a little bit and can be kind of intriguing to the ear, and it can kind of pull the listener in maybe. And so anyways, back to this G flat major. So here's C major notes. And I start peppering in those other notes. Yeah, so I find it kind of interesting. There were some mistakes in there with the time and a few other things, but yeah, just thought I'd share that with you guys, that perspective about black and white, thinking about the yin and yang, and how, you know, the piano has it there, right? White keys and black keys, and just taking those mental images and applying it to the guitar can open up your mind and ears to some different directions and some different ways of playing and thinking about playing in a tonality. And because you can get wild with this as far as, you know, think about how many 7-note scale. Oh, I don't even know. There's probably like, I don't know, somewhere around like 400 7-note scales, right? So that means that there's 400 some odd 5-note scales that could be the outside notes with those 7-note tonalities. So, you know, it can get pretty heady, but I wouldn't, you know, unless you find that super interesting and want to dive deep into it, I wouldn't necessarily recommend doing that. But maybe some of the common stuff like the major scale and Dorian and, you know, the common 7-note scales, I think is enough to use as your base for inside notes. All right, hope you found that interesting and helpful. All right, thanks.